Most brands who fail on TikTok Shop fail before they ever make the first sale, and the sad part is it's not because they have the wrong products, but it's because they're doing the wrong stuff and they're pursuing the wrong systems. We've taken brands from $0 to $50,000 a month in 45 days, and we've built creator systems to generate consistent revenue month over month across multiple brands. And every single time, the brands that scale fast are the ones that did the right things before they launch, and the ones that crash, they're the ones who skip this checklist. I'm Sam Khan, founder of SocialTK. We manage TikTok Shop end-to-end for 7 and 8-figure DTC brands. And in this video, I'm gonna give you the complete checklist, everything you need to do before you launch and everything you need to do right after, so you're not one of the brands that wastes 3 months figuring it out the hard way. Let's hop right into it. So before we do anything with a new brand, before we send a single sample, before we touch a listing, the first thing we do is figure out whether the product even makes sense on TikTok Shop. Now, I don't mean, is this a good product? That's not what I mean here. I mean, your product might be incredible. You might be doing 8 figures on Amazon, killing it on Shopify, crushing it in retail D2C. That's not what we're checking. We're checking whether this product works in the specific format that you're onboarding onto TikTok Shop with. Short form video, creator driven, the impulse buy energy that creators, that consumers are looking for. So I'm in Kalo Data right now. This is one of the tools that we use, and I'm searching for products in the same niche as a brand that we're onboarding, right? And I'm looking at 3 things specifically. First is there already revenue in the category, right? So for the example of the brand that we're basing this video around, we did $250,000 for them in about 3 to 4 months. And they were in the herbal supplements category. Now, I can't obviously reveal the brand for NDA purposes. However, they were very similar to this micro ingredients listing, which is selling saffron. The first thing we're looking for is there already revenue in the category, right? So like the last 30 days, how much are they pulling? 168,000 is a good lump sum amount, right? Another example here is you have the Rosabella Organics, right? They were doing 300,000 last 30 days. We have 270,000 last 30 days. There's so many listings here that are in the upper 50,000 to $300,000 range, right? So is there already revenue in this category? Yes, right? If I search your niche and nobody's making money on TikTok Shop, that might be a problem. And I'm saying it's a problem in the sense that it might be too niche down, right? But make sure to do your research and go into categories and figure out what's actually selling. Is there actually money in this category? And you can make space and wiggle room for yourself. The second thing is what kind of content is already driving sales, right? So once I'm on this listing, I'm going to go all the way down and I'm going to try to figure out, number one is what type of creators are sourcing their products, right? So we have a lot of stay-at-home moms here, seems like a lot of athletic bodies. There's going to be content over here that you can look at. What I'm looking at here is the formatting of the content, right? This is basically the pre-game before we launch on TikTok Shop. So we can obviously see in the format of this video that it's face talking videos that are doing well, and then on top of that, they have highlighted captions, big fat captions on the screen. It seems like they're talking about personal benefits, personal experiences, and they're selling it that way. There's not a lot of skits here. There's not a lot of crazy action items. It's just face talking, simple, authentic videos, right? So that's number 2. Number 3 is what angles are repetitive, right? What angles keep repeating? And you're gonna notice a pattern here is that, for example, let's look at 3 different elements, right? Let's look at background first. Seems to be a lot of car videos here, right? Where they're sitting in their car, or they have a very nice bright background. That seems to be a very repeating pattern. Another thing is what kind of angles are repeating, right? So let's hop into some of these examples. Basically, if you guys haven't picked up on it already, there's an authority angle that's very active throughout these 3 to 4 videos, which is, dude, like I took saffron and he's like physically showing you the effects of, oh my God, I love saffron. This girl's talking about from the authority perspective of marriage, it saves your marriage. This girl's talking about, I'm a registered nurse, right? So there's a lot of authoritative content here. Let's look at one more. Seems like this guy is one of the founders and they're doing seller signed content, which is another thing we can hop into another video. But this is also an authority angle. So it seems like authority angles are crushing it for this. A similar style, which you guys have probably seen across multiple videos, is people dressing up as nurses or doctors and saying this is a doctor's opinion on saffron, right? So that's the third thing. Here's the thing that most people don't realize, right? TikTok Shop is basically a discovery commerce platform. People aren't searching for your product. They're scrolling for entertainment and your product interrupts them. So the product needs to be visually demonstrative, right? So an example of this is with micro ingredients, they crushed it with the actual labeling on the product, right? When a creator holds up a product in the camera, it should show very evidently what is displayed. So for this, it shows very evidently that it's saffron plus. Before a creator even opens their mouth. By the way, a little statistic for you guys is that TikTok Shop users, TikTok users in general, 80% of them open their app with it on mute, 0% volume. So if a creator can simply hold up a product and it sell itself, huge benefit, huge plus right there. And Saffron Micro Ingredients crushed it with this. I'm a fast talker. But yeah, so amazing images. And this actually brings me to my next point, which we're about to hop into right away, which is images and how to present your product and how to present the reviews that you guys have stacked up off platform. All right, next thing on the checklist is building the creator machine. So the first system we build for any brand is the creator system, right? And I need to clear something up, right? We're not sliding to the DMs of thousands of influencers. That takes so much work and it doesn't make sense, right? So what we do is we use a tool called Kruva, which automates this outreach process. And we're looking for basically underdog creators, I like to call them, right? Small following, a low 30-day roll in GMV, but they post consistently and their content is actually good, right? Keep in mind, these creators are as new to the platform as the brands are, so we have to have grace with them. So these creators are hungry, they're underdog creators, they're building their affiliate income, right? So they'll post multiple times for you. All you need to do is incubate them properly. So within Kruva, and I'll do another video about how we specifically use Kruva, but I'm looking for, when you're starting with a cold start brand, I'm looking for creators between 50 GMV all the way to 500 GMV. And I'm looking for posting frequency. I'm looking at content quality. So are they showing their face consistently? And I'm looking at product market fit, right? A fitness creator isn't going to sell a beauty product, right? So you need to make sure that everything matches up. In this process, don't be too picky. Just use Kruva to look for AI creator search, for example, which is up here. And you can type in things like show me a stay-at-home mom into fitness, right? As a very vague example, it's going to load a bunch of examples here. You can save this list and start outreaching ASAP, right? So Kruva is the tool you're going to want to use, and I'll leave a link to them in the description below. Okay, so next up is sampling strategy, right? We are not spraying and praying samples. I want to make something very clear in this video tonight that I do not want to spray and pray samples. Samples are not gifts that you're giving out and forgetting about. They are basically your cost of acquiring the creator, right? Your CAC, basically, as people know it, right? But except for paying $800 for UGC content like you do over on Instagram, you are paying for repeating posting and based on commission, right? So we aim to send between 100 and 200 samples for a brand, month 1 and month 2. And these samples are not just being pushed into the abyss. We have automation set up to get them back in and start posting consistently. There's a lot of automations, but we'll hop into this in another video. You want to run a bot that is fairly large and wide open. For example, there's health and food and bev right here with creators that are over $100 in GMV in the last 30 days. And these are coming in at a 6.5% sample request rate, right? So don't send just a couple samples and be picky with them in the cold start phase. Go wide, go open, but be specific about who you want at the same time. Send at scale, follow up consistently, and stop being cheap with your samples. This is the time to crank. All right, here comes one of the most arguably important parts of TikTok Shop, which is GMV Max Ads. GMV Max Ads is the only type of ad type for TikTok Shop right now. So what you want to do to set it up as a cold start brand is setting an ROI target of at least 1, and then setting a budget of at least 10x your average order value. What happens is day after day, you want to track if it's spending at least 80% of your budget. And if it's not spending at least 80% of your budget, first make sure that you have at least 30 to 50 videos in circulation and that your product listing is optimized for conversions through the image stack that we discussed earlier. After you check that, you want to try to bring down your ROI targets day over day by 1 decimal point. So from 1 to 0.9 to 0.8 to 0.7, all the way to 0.5. And then you want to see if it's spending your entire budget. At that point, it probably will if all your other moving parts are organized. Once you're at a 0.5 target, you want to keep scouting GMV Max to see if it's at least breaking even at your ROI target, or it's going above and beyond to like 0.7 or at least or 1 or 1.2. And you want to start slowly cranking it up by 2 decimal points every 3 or 4 days. Don't mess with this too much. Stop, fingering it and, touching things. Just let it cook for 3 to 5 days. Stop messing it with every 6 hours. It needs 40 conversions to get out of the learning phase, and it needs at least 7 days to start cooking. So GMV Max is a patience game and it is an amplification game, but you want to make sure that you have the right systems to lay it down on. Boom, the halo effect, right? This is what everyone keeps bragging about on LinkedIn, right? But TikTok doesn't just drive sales on TikTok. Obviously, it actually has a pour over onto Amazon and D2C. This is an example from our website, SocialTK, where we are working with the brand that we're actually displaying in this video. And when we took them to $250,000 on TikTok Shop, they actually had a 20% pour over on Amazon, not including the algo boost that's ongoing right now anyway, right? So the brands that we work with are seeing a 20 to 50% revenue lift across across their whole business after launching on TikTok Shop. So the halo effect is real, right? But aligning your TikTok and Amazon strategy is very important to make sure that you have TikTok specific bundles and you're not competing with pricing and shipping times between your TikTok Shop and your Amazon platforms, right? Different packages, different messaging, but everything is working in unison. All right, guys, this is the last section, creator retention. Most brands will start losing their creators going into month 2, and it's because they don't have the right systems in place. For this specific brand that we did 250,000 in sales for, from this last week, we have a 7.7% sales rate, which means about 100 samples that are sent. Out of 100 samples, we have 7 to 8 samples that get sales, which is an insane sample to sales rate. And to achieve this, aside from getting on calls with creators and aside from being engaged with them in the group chat and sending them angles, what we love to do is launch contests going into month 2 and month 3. And our favorite contests are one bingo contest where you have a card and you have a bunch of different requirements and you have a cash pool if they achieve it, or you have a weekly sweepstakes or a bi-weekly sweepstakes where they have a bunch of posts that they put out, and whoever gets the most posts has the biggest chance of winning the raffle, and you spin the wheel and you have a cash pool on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. These two contests allow creators to be more engaged, more paying attention to your brand, and also they have a lot of chances to actually get their video to catch on fire from GMV Max Ads, and it's a win-win for everybody, right? So this is a very important piece to get creator retention flowing. That's the full checklist. Before you launch, validate your product fit, fix your listings, sort fulfillment, plan around probation, build a creator machine, and send samples at volume. After you launch, activate the creators, track and double down, scale with GMV Max, leverage the halo effect, and retain your creators. And guys, if you're a brand doing 7 to 8 figures and you want the system built and managed for you completely end to end, you can scan this QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to book a call with me and my partner one-on-one. That's it for today, guys. See you in the next one.